Well, what a joy it is today to have Mike Foster in the house. Mike is a pastor and host of the podcast FunTherapy. He's an author, and he has a most recent book called 5 Dates, which he co-wrote with his wife, Jennifer. And it's a helpful guide for couples who want to reconnect with their spouse through a simple and biblical process. Would you welcome with me Mike Foster? Hi, Mike.
Hey.
So it's actually kind of a cool day for you to be here with your wife, Jennifer, somewhere. And because today is actually your anniversary.
It is. We've been married 23 years today. It's a big celebration.
That's cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
It's awesome. So I have the books here, and people are loving, these books on marriage. And of course, you guys have the proof is in the pudding. 23 years of marriage. You have something to say about it. And of course, pastors don't really struggle with marriage because they're perfect, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. Well, let me just start. What sort of motivated you to write this book together?
Yeah, well, I once heard it said, Bobby, that relationships are just a walk in the park. The only problem is it's Jurassic Park. And listen, right. I've been married for 23 years. Jennifer and I we've been together. We dated 5, so we've been together for 28 years. And relationships are messy, and they're complex, and they're difficult. And so we just wanted to create a resource, a really helpful, easy, simple resource to help couples begin to connect again.
Yeah, and of course, in your view, it doesn't have to be Jurassic Park. It can be a life-giving, awesome experience. There's always going to be challenges. So you guys sat down and you began to sort of write this book together. But even in that process, some old stuff kind of came up to the surface even when you were writing it, didn't it?
Absolutely. It was a fun process. It was our first project that we've ever done together. And one of the memories that came up as we were working on this was our biggest fight. And our biggest fight actually happened at a marriage retreat, which is kind of a crazy place to have your biggest fight.
Yeah.
But it was true. And I think that happens for a lot of couples. We sort of have these expectations, or we start comparing our relationship to somebody else's relationship, or we have sort of these idealistic views of how marriage or relationships are supposed to work.
Yeah.
And so for us, we just wanted to create a resource that says, hey, it is hard. And sometimes fights happen at marriage retreats. And that's just the reality of the life and the world that we live in. Yeah. But it can be good if you're intentional and you really begin to invest in that relationship.
That's good. Comparison is a big piece, isn't it? Because nobody puts their knockdown, drag-out fights on like their Instagram stories, for example.
We do. We actually write about our knockdown, drag-out fights, but that's the reality of it. We see Instagram, we see other couples, and we start comparing, and that never helps a relationship.
Yeah, so very often, I find that in marriages and in couples, most couples, though they'll have the time-to-time big fight, usually what I find is more the sort of stonewalling or coldness, or sometimes it's more like, we're friends, but we don't have this intimacy, we're not like best friends like we used to be, we don't genuinely want to, so that's happening too, right? That's kind of a bigger thing where, you can turn that around, right?
Yeah, well, it's what we call the slow drift, where couples, they're in love at the beginning, and everything's great at the beginning, and then they stop investing in the relationship, they stop connecting, and so they slowly drift apart. And one of the reasons that motivated Jennifer and I to write this was we had several friends in our friend circle that after 20 plus years of marriage drifted apart over those 20 years and ended up with a divorce or just really struggling. And so we thought, how can we stop the drift? Yeah. And it comes through these intentional times of dating.
It's so hard, isn't it? When friends get divorced and you feel like you have to pick a side and there's so much shame with that, especially in the church, and there shouldn't be. God can save your marriage, and God loves everybody, but what do you think is the single biggest obstacle that stands in the way of a great marriage?
Well, I think it's something that all of us face, whether we're married, dating, engaged, just not in a relationship. It's just the busyness of life. Yeah. And I think the realities of being over-connected, kids and soccer practice and just so many things going on in our busy lives that we actually forget about the person that we care about the most. And so really this whole project is about slowing couples down and saying, let's get back to the basics and really begin to make time for each other.
That's great. I love how practical it is because you have the sort of his and hers.
Yes.
So these are kind of like workbooks. You got the one for dudes and the one for, I don't know, it's for him and her.
Yeah, and the guy's book basically just has pictures in it. That we kept it really simple.
Cool.
So.
That's good.
No reading.
Cool. That's funny. Well, good. Well, they're still laughing. One of the things I love so much is that it's a different approach for male and for female, because we all have different needs and different ways we need to approach a marriage. And you even made it color-coded again for the men. So what's a word of encouragement you can give to someone today that's like, I don't know, Pastor, if I can turn my marriage around. Like, what's some encouragement you can give to a couple?
Well, that's the thing. One of the enemy of our marriages wants to say that it's hopeless. Just give up.
Yep.
There's no sense even trying to improve the situation. And so wherever you're at in your relationship, beginning to take small incremental steps towards health, making small decisions to say, I want to keep fighting for what we have and keep investing in what we have. I truly believe that God will pay that off, and that it's important not to lose hope and not to give up.
All right, Mike Foster, your wife Jennifer, thank you so much for these books. It's called 5 Dates. Check it out. You'll really be glad you did. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Bobby.
God bless you.